Keith here, Fish Kings, Two Guys How To's, and I went to the store the other day. I got a little bored and wanted to buy some new gear, checking stuff out, but I've had good luck on during spawn season right now. They're almost done spawning, but they're finicky and they're not hitting much. Mostly live stuff, live minnow, live mouse, dead real mouse, live salamanders. Worms are good. I don't really mess with the worms, but live frogs, anything that's real, live, or just killed, or looks really real. And I tell you what, I grabbed another. I've got some of these, but this is a bigger Rebel, and it's the wee crawfish. But it looks very lifelike. It's got the double treble hooks on it. It's airbrushed, if you would call. The color of it is perfect for crawfish. You can even see the red in its eyes. And it's got the smaller bill, and it's a rounded bill. It doesn't go real deep. It's a crankbait, but if you keep your tip about, waist high, and you practice on your retrieval speeds on the reel, you can make this thing do what you want. But the action on it is so good. When it wiggles back and forth, even hitting these algae blooms, it'll almost knock the algae off of this lure. So it's a Rebel, and it's a wee crawfish, and I'm really digging it just by the sight and the sound of the beads in there, and I'm digging it. So let's see if we can hook into a bass. I've had good luck on these before. There are some algae blooms, but we're gonna go down this way a little bit and see what we get. And it's a little light, but I'm gonna, once I get the pole dialed in on it, we can make some magic on it. So let me clean off this algae, just get this treble hook. It looked like it got wrapped around the pole. And let's see if we can get a hit. I wanna make sure that algae's cleaned off and it just looks presentable, So I'm gonna let it go in there, and then I'm gonna reel this thing and just let it do the work. I'm gonna hold it up, like I said, at waist high, and try to zoom in and out of those algae blooms. It's got a little bit of algae on it, which hinders it. Like I said, it will shake it off, but more algae is kind of built up since I've been here today. Normally I wouldn't use this, but man, this thing looks so real. I couldn't resist to try it, even though there's algae. And I'm gonna do my retrieval speed pretty slow. And great action. Great action. We hit a bloom on the way in right there, a big fat bloom, but you know what? I'm willing to clean this up and keep running it. I know we're gonna get a hit. Oh, hold up. There, we got something. So it just took a little bit, a couple casts, and perseverance, excuse me. I don't think it's the biggest. Nah, it's a little bluegill. So, but it's a good sized bluegill. So we're going for bass, but you know what? At this point, I'll take anything, because it proves that the Rebel. Let me get the box. The wee crawfish, it works on bass, and it'll work on big bluegill too. So let me get her unhooked here. And you always want to grab these fins down, but the wee crawfish by Rebel, and in the early spring, late spring, well, all year really, but during spawn season, even these guys, they're sitting on the nest right now. The bass moved out, and these big bluegill are sitting on the nest. You can see how dark it is, and it's a healthy fish. Its gills are real red, nice and pink up there. So we're gonna set it back, and it just proves that these Rebels, they just pay off for bluegill or bass. And we're gonna keep casting in and just get more and more. Over here near these cattails. Let's see if we can bring that down there. That's what we want right there. This took a little bit of time, and the closer you get to those cattails, the better. And that's gonna make for a good video there. It's a good sized bass. And let's bring it in, make sure you guys can see this here. Real gently. I'm not trying to, I usually stop the drag with I can control the drag with my finger here on the string. And I'm gonna let it tire itself out. It's not gonna get off those treble hooks. it's not gonna, that's the one good thing about a good lure, like a Rebel. And this is that Rebel, the wee crawfish. I always make fun and say, well, at the wee hours of the morning or the wee hours of the evening is when you're fishing. But today we're out just in the afternoon. It's early afternoon, and you can see once again that crawfish, she's hooked on there, and it probably was in there twice as much with this one. You can see a scale here, and it'll come back like that and hook into them. But that's what you want, you know, you want bass. And we're out here during spawn. It's incredibly hard to catch them. So we broke this the Rebel, and I'll show you the box one more time. Let's see if we can get this out of her lip without hurting her. And there you go. So I mean, catch big bass with the Rebel, wee crawfish. And this is the box here. Wee crawfish by Rebel. Catches big bass during spawn or any time of the year. So you go and get some of it. Keith with the Fish Kings and Two Guys How To's, and get you some of it with the Rebel, wee crawfish.